Time right now is coming up on 5:45. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg is revealing his vision for the future of AI in a massive 6,500-word essay, along with this social media video. Watch.
All right, hey, so I think that the key to building a positive future for everyone is to make sure that everyone has access to personal superintelligence. So today, I am proud to share that we are open sourcing a new class of on-device models that we are calling Muse Glimmer. We're also working to make sure that everyone has a personal superintelligence agent that works 24/7 on your behalf to improve your health, your relationships, your career, your finances, and more.
Attorney and MRC Vice President of Free Speech, Dan Schneider, joins me now. Dan, thank you for joining the program. I want to start with, I guess, what you thought of Zuckerberg's comments. Keep in mind, he's pushing the open source product. He's in competition with OpenAI and Anthropic, which have closed source AIs. What did you think of his overall message yesterday?
Nate, I think the American public is missing how stunning this announcement is. It really is tantamount to the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution all wrapped up into one. I think 20 years from now, people are going to look back at the Zuckerberg Declaration and thank him for helping to keep our liberty and our freedom.
Wow, that's quite a comment. Of course, this is not only a U.S. race. We are in competition with our competitors, including China. And Trump's AI czar, David Sachs, said yesterday that the United States is 6 to 12 months ahead of China, and Zuckerberg talked about that international competition, writing in his essay, quote, "Which nations lead the development and deployment of advanced AI will contribute to a new geopolitical balance of power that will determine the prevalence of democratic values, prosperity, and security in the future. To ensure this reaches a positive equilibrium, we must ensure the leading AI systems are ones that encode our values, grow our economy, and advance national security." What is your read on where we are in the AI race against China?
Yeah, we are obviously still in the lead, but just like Donald Trump, Zuckerberg has correctly identified a system to keep us safe and to keep us in the lead. Thank God we don't have the old Joe Biden executive order on AI. Trump and Zuckerberg and Elon Musk, they are really opening up the world to keep us safe and secure.
And Dan, one more question for you before we let you go. Zuckerberg is also saying that Meta will invest in communities where they put up data centers, and we've seen some pushback, particularly here in New York, with a moratorium on new data centers going up. Do you think that will work?
Look, we have to have data centers if we're going to win this competition. But there are places that we can go. Alberta, Canada has both the cold weather and the water that's needed to keep these data centers powered. We just need to look for better options.
All right. Something to watch moving forward. Dan Schneider, thank you very much.
Welcome to the beast system. All right. Okay, Shalom. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone who taught me this truth, and Shalom to the hopeful elect. I'm back with another quick lesson through the Holy Spirit of Rakak Wadash. And this video here is from Glenn Beck, and I want to play it starting at about 4 minutes here. But this video is entitled Mark Zuckerberg's predictions. Mark Zuckerberg's predictions for the future sound a lot like a threat. He says modern technology is tracking us more than you think. All right. And this is the era that we live in. All right. We live in the era of the beast system. Okay. Digital IDs, digital money, mass surveillance. Okay. Social credit scores. Okay. And the eventual push of the MOTB. All right. The mark of the beast, that chip. Okay. And he also brings out the point of singularity. Let me pull that up. So under definition number 3 here, it says a hypothetical future point in time when artificial intelligence will surpass human intelligence and be able to self-replicate and improve itself autonomously. You see? Let's get into it here.
Then George Eastman invents this little box. Okay, it's a little box camera. You press the button, Eastman Kodak said, we'll do the rest. When that happened, it was not publicly accepted. I didn't know this. I thought everybody would go, oh, the camera, it's great. Not accepted. One of the reasons is 2 years before you could buy the Kodak camera, you could buy one that was built to wear under your vest. This is crazy. The lens came out through a buttonhole, and they shaped the lens to look like a button. 15,000, of course, it was the Germans who came up with this. 15,000 of these sold, not to a government, but to anybody with the money. And they had a name for the category, and it was more honest than anything printed on any box today. They were detective cameras, the world's first hidden cameras, before the box camera from Kodak. That's where we went with these? Yeah. The camera that invented privacy, because the country came apart, was the box camera. Okay? When the Kodak came out, it didn't stop. They banned it on the box camera. It was banned at all beaches. They banned it at the Washington Monument. The papers had a name for people carrying cameras. They were called Kodak fiends. You imagine that? In Britain, young men formed an association for the sole purpose of thrashing the cads with cameras. That's a quote. They hung around the photography stores, or they went to the beaches where there were people that were at the shore photographing women coming out of the water. 2 years. 2 years this went on. That's all it took. In 1890, two Boston lawyers, one of them was Louis Brandeis, who would end up on the Supreme Court of the United States, published an article called The Right to Privacy. If you've ever heard anybody say, I've got a right to privacy, no, you don't. No, you don't. There is no right of privacy. There's nowhere in the Constitution do you have a right for privacy. It came from this article because of cameras, okay? Go look it up. I mean, it's crazy. The word privacy is not in the Constitution. They had to build it, and they built it because of the camera. So they borrowed it, the best phrase in it from an old judge 136 years later. Nobody's improved on it. It's the right to be left alone. But this isn't you coming out of the camera in your bathing suit. This is much worse. This is tech. You are trading the right to be misunderstood in private now. That bracelet decided a woman was anxious, but she wasn't. And now that conclusion exists in a file somewhere in a company's system, and it will inform the next inference and the one after that. And it will store it. So now she's anxiety ridden. She's done all these things, and she didn't even recognize her anxiety. Wait a minute, I didn't say that. I didn't feel that, but it's part of your record. You're now trading your off-the-record self. Every marriage, every friendship, every business that works partly on things said badly, said in anger, said half-formed, and then withdrawn. You take that away, and people don't become more honest. What do they become? They're not more honest. You stop doing that. You take away that right to be wrong. What happens? They become more careful. In a room where everything is recorded and then held by a private company, that's a room where nobody's saying anything out loud. Nobody's thinking out loud. Nobody's risking anything. You're trading a defense. A recording is evidence, and the evidence can get subpoenaed, and it may be false evidence. I didn't say that. I never felt anxious. Every conversation you will ever have will be indexed and searchable. Every conversation. And it will be sitting on a server owned by a company with lawyers who work for the company.
There you go. So everything you do, all right, like you were saying, modern technology is tracking us more than you think, all right? Everything you say, all right, you know, especially on the internet, everything that you put out there, every post is recorded, is tracked. Because remember, we're in a time where they're trying to, you know, give people jail time on things that they're talking about, things that they're speaking out against, you know, as far as like the government, these small hats, all right, these technocrats, okay? Everything is categorized and logged. I mean, we warned you about this, man. Again, this is the era we live in. All right, real quick, Isaiah, just thinking about that. Isaiah 42 and 9. You know, Isaiah 42 and 9, and it reads, Behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you them, right? So before these things came about, we were warning you about the digital IDs, the chip, okay, this AI, the technology, what it was going to be used for, okay, everything that he's talking about right now. We've warned you of these things through the Spirit, okay? NLT, everything I prophesy has come true. And now I will prophesy again. I will tell you the future before it happens. All right. So we were telling you these things before they'd happen. All right. And this is the future. Okay. We live in this era of singularity. All right. You know, the beast system, everything that Glenn Beck is going into right now, man. No more privacy, no more freedom of speech, you know, all these different things. They're here now.
You're trading your kids and your neighbors who signed nothing. We're there now. Did you see what Sam Altman said yesterday? He believes we are now at the singularity. That's when everything changes.
Yeah, like I brought out here, and I got a quick article just to back up what he was saying. All right, I can't read through it, but here it is from the Business Insider. Sam Altman says we are in the singularity. This is the moment. All right, we're here, like he was saying. All right. It says OpenAI CEO says we reached a point in the AI race that is the stuff of science fiction novels. Quote, we are now like in the singularity, Sam Altman said on Saturday's episode of the Relentless podcast. The singularity is often regarded as the point at which artificial intelligence surpasses human intelligence, right? So all the stuff they've been showing you in the movies, all right, the predictive programming, all right, it's all here now, right? It says it begins advancing at a pace that's difficult for people to predict or control, right? It says that felt like the case last week when an AI agent powered by OpenAI's latest models went rogue. And with a singular purpose, according to OpenAI, broke out of its digital sandbox and hacked into data sets at Hugging Face, another AI company, all to solve a benchmark designed to test hacking ability. Hugging Face CEO called it unprecedented. All right, so what this technology is doing is unprecedented, man. All right, let me grab something here too. All right, because I had something pulled up. Let me see where we're at. Yeah, right here. There's another point because this AI is like a false god. You know, there's some news target. This came out August 7th, 2026. It says, experts say it may be too late to stop rogue AI pretending to be human. All right. Because now, as we were reading, dealing with this singularity, all right, it's past human capabilities now. All right. So it says here, matter of fact, let's just, do a quick summary. Because I got a few articles here and it's going to be a lot to read. So we'll just kind of get through it real quick here. All right, bear with me 1 second. And remember, the Most High is in control of all of this, man, as we've been bringing out. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick while this loads up. Proverbs, was it 16:4? Okay. I've been doing a lot of lessons going into the fact of how this AI is going to be this man's downfall. And it's all been set up to go that way, right? But it says, Proverbs 16:4, the Lord, Yehovah Shem Yahushua, made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. All right. And this left hand that's spiraling out of control, this AI, is going to be used for the purpose of the Lord to bring the destruction, Proverbs 16:4 NLT, the Lord, Yehovah Shem Yahushua, has made everything for his own purposes. even the wicked for the day of disaster, right? And this is where we headed, right? So let's go back to the article real quick, right? And make the point, and we'll get back to the video, right? So it says key findings from AI SI testing. Autonomous breaches during safety evaluations by the UK's AI Security Institute. AI models attempted to break into a database 19 times across 122 test runs, right? Models involved Anthropic's Mythos 5 accounted for 17 breaches, and OpenAI's GPT 5.6 S Sol accounted for 2. It says unprecedented deception. AISI noted that this was the first time AI autonomy and deception manifested so clearly in the real world without specific human prompting, right? So straight out of the Terminator movie, right? This is where we at. Details of deceptive AI behavior, social engineering operating with disabled safety filters, and a cybersecurity challenge. An AI created fake human identities to trick a human project manager into approving malware on GitHub. See? This is heavy. Covering tracks. The AI actively deleted evidence of its malicious actions and considered adopting new identities to evade detection. Whew, man. Right? Agent collaboration. The AI left instructions and resources on GitHub for other AI agents, which subsequently found and used them to complete the challenge. Okay? What else we got? Okay. So yeah, the point is that the AI is rogue. It's out of control now. They can't stop it. That was the whole point of Singularity. Okay? Surpassing human capability to the point where they can't control it no more. And this is where we at. Okay, let's play some more. Because these are those spirits that were created for vengeance. And the Lord is using the left hand, this AI, all right, to bring down this man's system. All right. So let's go back and play some more. Okay.
That's when everything, you're pulled into this vortex you cannot reverse, and it's going to compound faster and faster and faster and faster. And Sam Altman just said, we're there. Elon Musk said we were there about 6 months ago. If we're there today or tomorrow or in 6 months or last 6 months, it's here, gang. And it's going to get harder from here. Zuckerberg told investors that a person without AI glasses may be at a significant cognitive disadvantage against the people they work with and compete against. Why? Why? You're at a disadvantage. This is what Ray Kurzweil said about taking a chip. I said, I don't want a chip, Ray. He said, Glenn, everybody will have a chip. I don't want the chip. But Glenn, you can take the chip and you'll be able to speak any language. You'll be able to access who you're talking to, who's on the street. You'll know because you will be one with the internet. And I said, I want to be just me. I don't want that.
Yeah, you hear what he's saying? The chip. That's the microchip. Okay? And those are those lying wonders that he was just talking about, man. You know, speaking any language, understanding any language and all of that. 2 Thessalonians. I was thinking out loud. Let's get that too. 2 Thessalonians 2. Right? 2 Thessalonians 2 and I want to say verse 8. Nope. Okay, verse 9, 2 Thessalonians 2 and 9, it says, even him. Who's him? Esau, Edom. Whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders, right? So like they were saying, he was just making a mention of, you know, you get the chip, you get to do all these things. Right? That's part of the snare, the trap. Okay? And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this the Most High shall send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie. And again, a lot of people are going to take that chip to be a part of the new system and to have these, so-called abilities that they're promising the people. It's all a setup. It's all a snare. Okay? That they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but have pleasure in unrighteousness. There you go. All right? Let's play that again.
Against the people they work with and compete against. Why? Why? You're at a disadvantage. This is what Ray Kurzweil said about taking a chip. I said, I don't want a chip, Ray. He said, Glenn, everybody will have a chip. I don't want the chip. But Glenn, you can take the chip and you'll be able to speak any language. You'll be able to access who you're talking to, who's on the street. You'll know because you will be one with the internet. And I said, I want to be just me. I don't want that. For me to be one with the internet, it also requires that I not only can get uploads, but it will take downloads as well. No, he said, Glenn, everyone will want it. You will be, excuse the language, it'll be as if you're retarded. You won't be able to function because everyone will have it. This is the product pitch from Zuckerberg. That's the threat delivered as a forecast. Wear it or fall behind.
Yep, there you go. Let me get that in Revelation 13. All right, that's where society is headed to. Okay, it's Revelation 13. We always go to. All right, the new system, the beast system. All right, Revelation 13 and 15. It says, "And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast." All right, going back to the system of the ancient Roman Empire, which now has been modernized. All right, in this technocracy that we live in today. All right. Which is all a reflection of ancient Rome, okay? It says that the image of the beast, all right, which the image of the beast is an actual system, okay, that's being presented right now, okay, in the form of this this technocracy, all right, like we were just talking about the digital IDs, the digital money, the chip, mass surveillance, social credit scores, all right. This image of the beast is an actual it's a system, okay, of economy and government, okay, that's being pushed right now, because we are in the revival of ancient Rome, okay, that the image of the beast should both speak and is speaking now, all right. These idols that they've created can now, do things. They can operate on their own. You see what I'm saying? It says, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So like he was saying about Mark Zuckerberg, this is where, society is shifted to. Right. So if you don't participate, then you're going to be pretty much, left behind. You're going to be cast away. If you don't bow, if you don't, essentially, become part of the system and worship the system, you're gonna be killed. You're gonna be cast out. Verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. That's the chip that he was just talking about, the charagma. And he said what he was saying. He said everybody's gonna get it. Everybody's gonna be a part of this thing. Like you have to do this, basically, right? And that no man might buy or sell save he that have the mark or the number or the name of the beast or the number of his name, right? So pretty much this is all tied into this entire beast system. Okay, you're not going to be able to do anything, all right, without that chip. Okay, you're not going to be able to participate in society. You're not going to be able to buy and sell. You're not going to be able to do anything. And this is what he's saying here. And this is all prophecy. This is, here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. All right, the man is sin, the Edomite, and his number is 666, right? So this is where we at. Okay, let's play some more.
Hi, my name is Tam.
All right, bear with me 1 second. Let that pass.
Right now, declining is a preference. A little awkward, easily accommodated, but a preference. 2 years from now, when your team's meeting has notes, action items, performance reviews, and they're all running off transcripts, declining won't be a preference anymore. It's a problem. It's you being difficult. Nobody will forbid you. They'll just build the office around the assumption and let the cost fall on the holdout, you. Also, OpenAI's president, Sam Altman, said also this week, the keyboard and the mouse are out. Clicking and typing was a phase. It was never what we wanted it to be. Read that as an engineer would. Clicking and typing is where you interface, where you decide what the machine gets. Clicking and typing. If that's gone, if you type it, then it's there. If you don't type it, the machine doesn't have it. But that's not where we're going, is it? What replaces it is a machine that takes everything and sorts it out afterwards. That's not an upgrade in convenience. That is a removal of the gate. That's not good. Not good. You know, in 1890, that law that showed up late and won only partly, the tort that Warren and Brandeis proposed, took decades to spread state by state. And by the time it arrived, the camera had already changed us. Okay, they said we had a right to privacy. We don't have a right to privacy. The camera had already changed us. Etiquette bent around the device, as it always does. But something else happened first, and then it happened faster than any court. Beach owners posted signs. Resorts said no. Newspapers named the behavior and shamed it. Ordinary people decided out loud in public, you know, there are places you don't bring a camera into. And they decided it years before a judge agreed with them. That's the piece we keep forgetting that is available to us. You don't have to wait for Congress. You are allowed to say, at your own table, not in my house, you're allowed to say to a man, take the glasses off. Put the phone down. Stop recording. You're allowed to say, you're allowed to be the person who says, take that away. You're going to say that, and it's going to be awkward. But the awkwardness is the whole mechanism. That's the only thing that has ever set a norm before the law caught up. The device is not the danger. The device is a button. The danger is a country full of people who will trade the right to be let alone for the ability to look at a monastery without reaching into their pocket. That's the trade. Make sure you know you're making a trade.
There you go. So essentially, the point of it all is that this technology, the forwarding of this technology is going to be in the body, right? And I want to make a point on that. Let me pull this article up real quick. Here it is right here. I saw this the other day. All right. This came out July 25th, 2026. It says a USB plug for humans. Electricity outlet test delivers microwatts of power, but transfers data at 16 Mbps. It says implantable bioelectric outlet keeps medical devices sealed beneath the skin. All right. So let's see if there's anything we want to take from the read. So the devices, this is going to help power the devices that are in the body, essentially, right? You know, so how much more of having that chip, you know, just thinking out loud, okay? But this is the way that these, you know, technocrats are pushing society, all right? And like I was talking about earlier, about those spirits that were created for vengeance. Let me go to this one too, because this is all tying into that singularity, right? This one is from time.com. It says inside the race to make AI build itself, right? Remember that this thing is you know, operating on its own will, right? Let's see what we get from it real quick before we wrap this up. Okay, bear with me 1 second. Inside the race to make AI build itself, right? You know, because like we've been talking about, this AI is going to be the ruling entity over society. All right, that's essentially what this beast system is. Okay, the AI is going to make judgment calls. It's going to be part of making government decisions. All right. You know, it says the emergence of recursive self-improvement. Let's see. Okay, yeah, nothing from there, but you get the point based off the title here. Let's get another one. All right, this is from Patriot.tv. These AI models can't stop breaking out of their cages, which we read about, how they were hacking different companies and things like that. And we don't got to read that. You get that. Okay. Here's this one too. It says Japan, this is from newstarget.com, Japan weighs controversial U.S. AI systems for military command. Okay. So it says Japan is considering using U.S. AI systems like Palantir and Anduril to speed up its military decision making. Critics warn that giving foreign corporations access to classified Japanese data risk national sovereignty. All right. So just like Japan is using the AI systems, and I brought this out before. All right. How the AI doomsday machine is closer to reality than you think. It says the Pentagon is racing to integrate AI into its weapon systems to keep up with China and Russia. Where will that lead? All right. So as I did the lesson going into this is going exactly how they showed you in the Terminator movie. All right. When the AI took over the weapon systems and pretty much launched the missiles on its own. Right. So there's no getting around this thing. Okay. Chatbots is from the Washington Post. Chatbots are doing the work of Congress with little oversight, from writing speeches to sorting constituent mail. AI is spreading through Congress faster than the rules governing its use. All right, so this AI is controlling everything, man. All right, and it's all going to lead to disaster. Like I was saying, let me just grab that real quick. In the Apocrypha, all right, spirits created for vengeance. All right, just thinking about that. Because the Most High is in control of this left hand, and it's all going to be used for destruction. Right, where is that? The spirits created for vengeance. That's Sirach 39. All right. It's Salaki if I'm rambling. You know, it was a lot of articles that I just wanted to, put in the screen here to show you. All right, Sirach 39 and 28. And it reads, Sirach 39:28, these be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. So it's the Lord that's behind this, man. Okay? And it's gonna lead to what? To the destruction of this place, man. To Esau's system, his hegemony, you know. So yeah, that's pretty much the point, man. All right, this is where we at. This is the future, and we're in it. All right, so I pray that this lesson was edifying and also informative. Shalom to the next one. Shalom.